Hi, my name is Dalton Peterson. I'm presenting case 7-2, Solutions Network Inc. In this case, Sarah Young, a controller for Solutions Network, is faced with an ethical dilemma of whether she should record revenue prior to the company completing its portion of the agreement. Recording of this transaction will determine whether or not the company meets their earning expectations. The CFO, Paul Henley, is putting pressure on her to record it by saying that it came straight from the top, and there even comes a point where he threatens her job if she doesn't get on point with it. What are the main arguments Sarah's trying to counter? The main argument that Sarah is trying to counter in this case is that the revenue should be recorded before the year is over instead of next year. Henley is arguing that the title transferred this year, and so they can record the revenue. Sarah feels that because they haven't performed their portion of the obligations yet, they haven't earned the revenue and can't record it this year, and so they need to wait till next year. Who are the key parties and what ethical obligations does Sarah have to them? The key parties in this are first Paul Henley and Ed Fralin. They're the CFO and the CEO. They're her bosses, and the management, and so with them, she and them have an ethical obligation to the company to make sure that it does well, and she has an obligation to them as her boss to do what they ask of her. And then another key party is herself. She has an obligation to protect herself and to do what she's comfortable with and what she feels is right. Another key party is the external auditors. She has the obligation to record transactions correctly as part of their audit assertions. And then the others key parties are the investors. She has the obligation to prepare financials and represent the company honestly so they have a clear picture of what they're investing in. Sarah's decision on revenue recognition in 2017 should not influence how she makes this decision. Just because she went along with an uncomfortable situation before and everything turned out okay does not mean that it's a good thing to base it off of. She needs to base it off of the facts now and do what is right now, regardless of the previous decisions. Her friend Shannon gave her some advice. I would say that she should follow it and discuss the ethical obligations with her boss, Paul Henley. He is a CPA, so he does know those, regardless of whether or not he's following them. And if he doesn't get on board with it, she can cite the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct, as well as the GAAP guidelines for proper recording of revenue to back up her side and support her argument. What if the most powerful and persuasive response and rationalizations that Sarah needs to address? And when should she address it, and in what context? She should do it in her discussion with Paul Henley. She should make it clear and make it known that the recording of the transactions now would not meet the recognition requirements of GAAP, and the CPAs and managements have an obligation to the investors, the external auditors, and the company to report transactions properly. And then if she's able to get Paul Henley on board with her point, they can go up to whoever is above him that they need to make the argument together. If not, she might need to do that herself. And then what should Sarah do if all parties of Solution Network support Paul Henley's position and flat out tell Sarah to be a team player? Sarah should first report to the external auditors and the SEC, and use the protections provided for whistleblowers to protect herself. And while she's doing that, she should start looking for another job, because me personally, I would not want to work for a company like that. Thank you for your time.